Hey everybody, welcome to Elisa's Art Room. So tonight we're going to be working some more on my Wild and Muted junk journal. We've got the cover started, it's not finished, and we're going to be working some more on the cover, and then we're going to be picking out some pages for the signatures. So y'all come in and say hi. I'm currently live on Facebook if you see the little red button at the top left. If not, you're catching a replay either here or on YouTube. And I'm going to get a sound check and then we'll get started. I can find y'all. Hey Dawn, thanks for letting me know the sound is good. Okay, get you guys pulled up. Alrighty, so looking good. So like I said, we're going to pick out pages. I've got some cut and hopefully ready. I haven't figured out what's going to go in each signature yet. Sometimes I do that ahead of time, sometimes I don't. I did not, but I did play with the cover, and I think I came up with a good solution for the cover. So we're going to do that first, and then we'll get started with the rest. All right, guys, looks like we're good. Got a couple people on, and sound is good. I'm going to pull the camera up. All right, hold on. Okay. All right, so let me find my part with the cover. So here's what I came up with. I was going to use the flowers just by themselves, but then I was looking through the Stamperia papers and decided that some of those looked real cute. And I think that that's what I'm going to do. So I already cut it out, but I took the sheet that had the tags and stuff. I don't think it's still in here. It's not. So I took the sheet that has like some tags, and I went through all of them, most of them, and I picked out a few that I liked, and I decided to go. So these were ones I liked. They're all slightly different, but I think for the cover, I'm going to use this one, and that's mostly because the colors just match more. I do like it otherwise, but I'm just going to pick it because the colors work better. And then I have some spool of lace that was sent to me in Happy Meal by Dawn, and I think it was from Walmart originally, because I was looking at yeah, it says Walmart. No, it's probably, something they don't carry anymore, but I did dye it with some, it was like a tea and coffee mix. Actually, it was like an avocado and coffee dye mix, I think. I was trying to get just a lighter brown color. My avocado dye did not turn out dark at all this time. I don't know what's up with that, but it's barely beige. So I don't think I let it simmer long enough. And then I dyed some of this ribbon, and we're going to put that along the edge here. I'm not sure which one. Like I said, I was getting different shades, so we'll decide which one looks best. And then so I've got that. I've got this beautiful lace, and I think it's going to be the dark one. So what's going to happen is, so this has got a 2-inch spine, so I want to be about where the front of the journal is, which would be approximately 6.5. Well, we'll say 6, not centimeters. So approximately here. this piece on there just to kind of set off the front. So you're only going to see, like, this is the front, okay? So it's right on the edge of the spine. And then this lace, right way up, somewhere in the center. I think that's about center. And that's going to wrap around. It might be too long because I went ahead and just dyed a huge piece, so I'll have to trim it. But I was going to trim it after I saw exactly how big it needed to be. And I left these little edges fray. And let's see. Side's a little bit darker. I don't know if I want it that dark though. And then this is going to go, like I said, this is kind of like this. So you know what? Let me grab something to put in there. I've got, where to go? Oh, that's way too long. There's a shorter one. There's a shorter one. I just want to kind of keep that spine up. So just put that there. Alright, so about there. And this, something like this. Now I may put a layer under this cardstock. It's heavy, but it's not super heavy. And then I've got the flowers I picked out. All of them. So I've got, let's see. All right, so I have one of the little roses, and I'm going to put that here on the edge. And then I've got two of these bigger ones. They're going to go in the corners. And then two of the brown medium size. Let me see which ones that go there. So these go here. One there. And then something like this. Same thing down here. Just want to make sure it's kind of in approximately the same spot. And then these little white ones here and here. And then these two little ones there and there. And I think that works out. So something like this. I'll just figure out where this kind of centers approximately. And these can overlap that if I want. It doesn't really matter. I think I might need to raise this up just a little bit. This one seems closer. So I'll probably raise this lace up a tiny bit. See if I can do it without moving. I still have to glue it down, so it doesn't really matter, but you get the idea. What do you think? Is that pretty? I think that'll be pretty. And then, so I think I'm going to layer this with something just to give it a little more weight before I glue it. So let me just throw these back in here. And I had a couple of options to give it some weight. So my options were heavy cardstock. I have this Tim Holtz heavy cardstock. It's just in white, but I can ink it. It's pretty thick. I don't know what the GSM on it is, but it's pretty thick. It's much heavier than this. It's like double this thickness. And then I have just some different kinds of felt type stuff I found. So I've got a green one. I don't know how that would look under there. What I'm thinking about doing is I might just use this felt and color it brown. You won't see much of it because I'm going to keep it kind of hidden, but you might see the edge of it, you know. So I've got that green one. I think I'm going to use the white though and dye it. So I'll just color this. It's a little, it's also, this is really felt, and this is some material that I had bought. I guess it's like a fleece. It's like a lightweight fleece. So I think I'll go with this. Got cat hair. We don't need the cat hair. It's like I debated on using the cardstock. The cardstock will make it very firm, whereas the felt will make it a little more, I don't know, softer. So I'm leaning toward the softer rather than the firm, I think. So those were my choices, and I had to think about it and decide what I wanted to do. So I think that looks good. Hopefully y'all think so too. So I'm going to trim this, cut this out. First, well, I'll cut it out first and then I'll ink it. But like I said, I don't want it to really show much, only just maybe, you know, the thickness of it. So it's not really going to show. And let's go ahead and figure out. So that's where everything's going. I'm going to start with the lace and go from there. So that'll be first. I'll just glue that in place. Like I said, I think just right where I think the spine will end up being, thereabouts. And logically it should be about 6 inches. So if I can find where I stuck that ruler. Oh, there it is. I buried it. So maybe I'll measure it. We'll do 5.5 from the fringe. And that's probably about right. So I'll glue it there. I'm just going to use some Fabri-Tac. I don't know if that's the right side. Let me see. I guess it's okay. Can't really tell the difference. So I'm just going to get it started. The glue will probably ooze through it a little bit. It's not a huge deal. I think it goes right up to the edge. Let me just check my measurement. About to the edge, about to the fringe. So there, and then down here. It'll be about there. I'll just mark that real quick. So center's about there. All right, so let's go ahead and really would rather put it on the journal. Just mark it. So I said 5.5. So that's the edge. So the center is probably about there. So we'll go to that second mark. So it's like 5 5/8. That's my center, right? Yeah, just about 5 5/8. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to line this up, put glue here. Doesn't have to really be marked a lot, just enough for me to kind of stay straight. Hey, Bonnie. Hey, Deborah. Okay. All right, so that should be good. And that's close enough. So let's figure out the size this needs to be. So I think I want the fray to end just before the fringe. So about here. I want to be able to fray it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I can stay somewhat straight. Seeing if there's some sort of guide on that design. Some larger scissors. And it's the back, so it's not, you know, a huge deal if it's exactly lined up. I don't want it to come right to the edge. Chances are as I glue this, it's going to stretch a little. It'll either do that or it'll shrink. Who knows? Alright. Fray this. Where is my pointy tool? Missing. Of course it's missing. Let me see if I can find something to put under this. I don't want to mess up my mat. So, I'm going to fray this out so it looks, you know, a lot cooler. I like a messy fray. Just trim off the extras so we don't want it to go too long. So not quite that long. Got this piece here that's weird. Let's see. Think about there. Be good. All right. So we're going to glue this to the center. I'll probably measure. Debating on which side I like better. One is a little darker than the other, which typically happens when dyeing lace. Where's that rose at? Oh, I think I'll go with the other color. I'll go with this color. All right, so let me find the center. I'm going to try to be exact because it's going to affect how my little flowers go on the corners. So I'm going to try to go, it's like an extra fray on this side, which I didn't trim. Wrong side. So let's see. So I've got 9.5, so 4.5 is the center, which is right where this ribbon is. The cover is lined up, it is. So approximately here is the center, and then this lace is 3.5. Is that 1 3/4? 1 3/4, and I can't measure, guys. I think it's 1 3/4. So from my center line, and I'm just trying to get, you know, pretty close. 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 is for 3.5, right? I don't know. I should know, but I suck at adding fractions. Helps if you have a mark. I'm going to visually look. Yep, okay, it is. My brain was working right. So, from my center, let me just draw a line this way. Why is that not the same? Oh, that's the same. I think that fray is just a little bit off, but that's okay. It's close enough. All right. So we'll go from this ribbon. So that's one on column center. approximately here is the center, and then 1 3/4 up from there. This will be the edge, and 1 3/4 would be, this will be the edge. So my ribbon needs to be, I'm going to start over about here. I know it's a lot of math. I don't usually do this much measuring, but for this I do want it, I just want it to be in the center so that those flowers turn out right. 1 3/4, and then I'm going to try to stay straight all the way around, so if I can, let me try to get close to being straight all the way around. I'll do the back. So is this 4.5? Let's make sure where 4.5 is. Oh, it's much longer. Yeah, my fray is going to throw me off a little bit. It's close. We'll just go with the ribbon. So with the ribbon to the edge of the fray, we're looking at about 4 3/4. It's probably why it doesn't quite feel centered, because of the, yeah, so far off. All right, let's just lay it this way. That's not working. We're going to do this. I really want the lace to be straight, so from here, which is the front that I did, this side, that color, yeah, we're going with the lighter. So half is there is a design that I can see for half, so that does help, and then half is that design, so right there should be centered. And see, it does stretch out to be pretty much that whole length. All right, so we're going to put this approximately here. I'm going to erase all my other marks. Now that I have 5 billion marks. So I'm just going to draw a soft line on the top to follow. Might actually do one on the bottom too, so I can see where to put glue. I'm not going quite to the edge there. Just as long as it's close. All right, there. See it? Yep, okay. So this is going to go there. So I'm just going to glue it this way because I think it'll be easier. I will close it to make sure that everything stretches properly, because sometimes that happens when you're doing a corner like this. All right, Fabri-Tac, cooperate. I'll probably just start with this side first. I'm not going to really want the fray glued down. I decided to put that under. I tried both under and over, and it just looked better under. So that's why I went with that. So almost to the edge there. And any of the Fabri-Tac that comes through, I'll just put some powder on after it dries to make sure it's not sticky or anything. It's definitely going to come through the holes. No real way around that. I was like, am I the right way? Because I didn't check to make sure I was straight before I started gluing. It wouldn't be a huge deal because honestly both sides do look very similar, but I was just like, is the pocket on the bottom? Oh no. Check these things first. Leave it to me to have it the wrong way. Now, sewing through this lace is going to be a little bit of a hassle, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the cover first. And hopefully it will be down enough that I can find the thread when it comes through. I'm going to actually try and smooth this one out just a little bit. Just where the spine is there. I really want that spot, at least in the center of that spot, which I think I got glued well. And then we're going to close it in a second just to make sure that it stretches properly. Okay, looks all right. I never did find my pull noodle that I used for this. It's floating around here somewhere. So just make sure that's good. Stretches over that fine. All right, seems fine. Push. And I'm just gonna probably leave these a little bit loose. I might glue them a tad more than that, but for the most part, I think I'll leave it loose. Okay, so now I'm gonna glue this spot right here just a little bit more. Just a tiny bit. Try not to do the fray because, like I said, I think it'll look prettier if it's not completely glued down. I am trying to squish it in a little bit so it looks kind of straight. As, you know, like any kind of lace, it does tend to want to stretch all out of shape. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, I have Fabri-Tac all over me. So now we're going to go ahead and let this dry for a second, and we'll work on thickening this piece. So I think I'm going to go with this felt. I'm just going to cut it out loosely and then I'll trim it close. I can use the chalk pencil. I did, I started cutting this out and I actually did not finish it. Interesting. Thought I did. I need to do that. I don't know if I want to trim that closer. Maybe just a little bit. Just a tiny bit closer. I want to be able to see that brown line there. But I don't want too much of a border. There's no brown line on the top. All right. So, what I was saying, I started cutting this. If you can see how it's in just a little bit, and I, for whatever reason, never finished it. I don't know why. These little pieces are going to go everywhere, so I'm going to use the small ones. I just thought it looked better if it had that shape just a bit. You know, not being exact or nothing, but just a hint at it. I thought about using the pinking shears, but they were never going to line up right. So I decided just to do it this way. It doesn't take that long. Okay. 4 little tiny pieces. And we're going to ink this with some probably vintage photo. I'll help it blend. I will ink it again on the felt. I might actually grab my archival ink and try to ink that felt just so it matches. better. I think it should work. I don't know that I've ever tried to ink felt before. I may not have. I do have some archival sitting here. It's in potting soil, which is close to the vintage photo. That's looking rough. Time to change it out again. All right, so let's go ahead and trace this out. Oh, I could just ink it first. I'm gonna need to do the edge, but I can do the edge later. You know what? I am gonna ink it first because it'll be easy. Well, I could just set it on cardboard. I don't know. We'll just cut it out first, since I already started it that way anyway. And I'll trim this more exact when I get it on there. Because I really didn't want it to show too much. I just wanted to give that little bit of, you know, proportion to it. A little bit of, I could have just stuck, you know, maybe some foam squares on there or something, but it's not the same. You know, there's always bumps and areas that are, you know, give in too much. Right, where's it? Let's just use this. Okay. And should I try it more first? No, I'll just ink it again. Alright, so let's try this. No idea how this is going to work. I'm hoping it will color it enough. And it is really looking green. Maybe it's my eyes. I don't know. Thought about painting it, which I could, but then I gotta wait for the paint to dry and it takes longer. I just wanted to hide it enough that it doesn't peek out white. I'm not going like this because I don't want this to stretch out, which it'll stretch out pretty easy. So I'm just dabbing. It doesn't really matter if it looks, it does look very green. I have a couple of other shades of brown in archival, which I could have tried, but maybe I'll grab them when we go to do the last step and see if they look browner than this. It doesn't look brown on white paper. I never noticed, or green on white paper. I've never noticed it looking green anyway. It looks more like frayed burlap right now. Which frayed burlap's a nice color, but it wasn't really what I was going for. I'm using the archival because it'll just be more likely to stay in place and not give me any issues with glue and stuff and bleeding. All right, let's see. Put the whole thing in there. So should I hit it with the blow dryer? Maybe. I gotta glue it anyway, so. Yeah, I will trim it a little more than that, but we're gonna go ahead and glue it on. Debating on where I want the glue. I think I want it on here. It's gonna be easier than trying to put glue on the fabric, because what happens is it just starts sticking to your nozzle and it's kind of a pain. So anytime you have an option of cardstock or fabric, choose the cardstock. It will be much easier to apply. Try to get right to the edge. When I was picking these out, which design I wanted, I was letting my husband and my daughter help me choose. My daughter chose the one I liked, and my husband chose the girl. He liked the girl with the books. But both me and my daughter like this one. All right, lots of glue. So we can pick it up and get glue all over ourselves. Okay. I have no idea which direction this is. Actually, it's this direction. I can tell from this cut. All right, so I'll try to put it on the same way. See if I can line it up. Not too bad. All right, glue that down. Make sure it's down pretty good. All right. Ideally, I want to wait for that to dry. But I think I can go ahead and trim it. Because there's not really any glue on this edge. I don't want this to show. I really don't want the felt showing. I just want it to thicken it. Like I said, cutting this is going to make the white edge again, but we'll fix it. Well, this little edge, I'm going to just get close. I'm not going to do all those bumps again. That might be a pain. So I'm just going to get kind of close. I'm going underneath the cardstock a little bit. So it won't be quite on that edge. Didn't do that side. It blended in so well I couldn't even see it. Okay. And let me grab that other archival and see if it's a better brown. Where is it hiding? Nope. Be the last one. I was stacked 20 tall, and it's of course the last one. Let's see, I'm gonna try this vintage photo. See if it's any better. It is, if nothing else, it's newer. These are almost brand new, whereas that other one is very old. You can tell by the design they changed years ago. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, that's giving me a browner tone. So we're just going to go around this edge so that it all blends in nicely. Moving a lot. it's not the easiest thing in the world to color. Almost done. Okay, now we have a much thicker piece. It's still malleable. Okay. Grab our cover that should be dry by now. Making sure I don't have any pieces of colored felt or anything that's gonna stain anything. All right, so make sure we're on the front. We are. Okay. And I'm gonna lay it out first and kind of see where these, I think I would take this out just so it can lay it flatter. About centered. I think that looks about centered. Let's see. What do we got? Approximately two. Approximately two. All right, I'm going to come this way just a little bit. I want room for my rose to fit there. Okay. And then this. And this. And then I have a printout of this because I played with it first. So I did print it out on draft so that I would remember about where things go. Decide where this is heading. Let's see. I don't know why it looks different to me, but I guess it's really not that much different. So I think I want them close to the edge and not, then they won't overlap. I'll just have that there. I thought about bringing them a little more in and having them overlap this, but I don't think I'm gonna. So this here, I don't think I want to come any more this way in case we're too close to the spine. I think that looks good. And then these will go on this part here. Okay. Just approximately centered there. All right, that's good. So let's start gluing. Shall I glue the roses first, the flowers first, or the cardboard first? I don't guess it really matters. I am going to mark it though, since I have it all nicely laid out. I'm going to mark my edge just inside so that I can see where to put glue. Just lifting it a little bit so I can get about a 1/16 inch inside. It's hard to see the top. Get close. It's going to be a very crooked line. Good enough. Let's lift that. Okay. I'll put this. I'll move these out of the way just so I don't hit them. I don't think I will, but. And then after all this, we'll try to pick out some pages. So I did get some digitals off of Etsy. I wasn't going to, but I didn't really have enough with just the Stamperia papers. So I tried to pick out some digitals that were very similar, and you know, they were still nature and had similar tones to what I had with the Stamperia. So I did that. I think I'll show you which ones I bought in a minute, and I think they're going to look good. I think they will complement the Stamperia. Alright, so just about a 16th in from there. And there. Make sure we're somewhat straight. I might weigh this down with my 1, 2, 3 blocks. I can reach the other one. Okay. And then we'll start gluing flowers. It's just a nice glob in the middle there. I could probably do hot glue, but I don't think that it's going to be an issue waiting for these to dry. They dry fairly fast. But if I was too concerned about it, then I could take a little drop of hot glue and the Fabri-Tac and mix them so that, you know, you get that instant hold of the hot glue while you're waiting for the other one to dry. But I think this will be fine. And then I always come back like the next day and just make sure everything's staying and I don't have any issues with anything popping up. If it is, then I'll just hit it with a little more glue. Come on, bubble. I need to buy some more Fabri-Tac. This one's getting a little bit on the thick side. So there. So I have a question for y'all. I know I only have a couple of people on, but maybe y'all can, when you watch the replay, you can let me know. I have that little miniature building kit that I got for Christmas. It's a coffee shop. I think it's a coffee shop. Sitting next to me, I'll have to look in a minute, but I have that. I want to start working on it. Was not going to do it live. I should have done that one first. Already got glue on it now. I wasn't going to do it live, but I might do it live. I've never built one of these little kits. It's one of the Row Life ones. Haven't done one. It should be a experience for sure. But I was thinking I might take either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, whichever day you guys prefer, and do the journal 2 days and do that one day. And that way, one thing, it also gives those people who don't necessarily like junk journaling something else to watch. So, just a little bit of variety. So, I don't know if you guys have a day preference. Specifically, maybe you, Angela. I know you're not as into the junk journaling as some of the other girls. Would you like me to do the miniature on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday? Do you care? Have you as thrilled with that? But let me know. Just, you know, you guys please comment. I do like your guys' opinions, and so many times I'll ask, but nobody says anything. It's so rare I get a reply. And this page does not have a poll option. The groups have a poll option, but for whatever reason, pages do not. Yeah, I could just make a poll with a normal post, but it wouldn't be the same as a normal poll. So yeah, let me know. Would you rather me do the little miniature on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday night? If I do junk journaling on Monday and Friday, that gives a little bit of a gap in there, and do the miniature on Wednesdays. Of course, I won't start till next week, but it's just something I was thinking, and I thought it might be fun to try to do one together, and you guys can see all of my errors and everything else because it's going to be live, so who knows what's going to happen. I have no clue. Hopefully I won't cut myself for nothing. Always worry about that. All right, I think we're all glued down. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty stuck. These, of course, aren't quite dry, but they will dry relatively fast. So we get that, and then the back. It's just going to be plain. I'm not going to do anything major to it, mostly because I don't really want the bumps on the back. So, you like it? I like it. I think it looks cute this way. Hopefully y'all like it too. So I think that'll be pretty. And then that just gives that little bit of lift there to make it look a little more three-dimensional. And it's still soft. It's still a soft cover that has that give that we all like. So, all right. So that's the cover part of this today's session. Just get my Fabri-Tac glue back on. Fingers. Okay, so let's talk papers. First of all, I'm going to get this out of my way because I need a lot of room for papers. Right, this one goes in here. And this one goes in here. Just going to move all these inks over to the table. Move my water too. I thought I might need it, but I did not really. All right, that there. So, still rolling Fabri-Tac off my fingers. All right, so here's my pile of papers. I'll let that keep drying for a minute. So I've got some envelopes, coffee dyed, so they'll have to be re-glued. Sometimes they fall apart when you coffee dye them. I've got, so this is the paper I did last night it's avocado with a tiny bit of tea in it. And it just was really light. I don't mind it, but it's really light. So, got that. And like my avocados, oh my gosh, they vary so much. I think I just must not have boiled it long enough, because this is what my avocado paper looked like last time. This pink. I mean, that's nowhere even close. So I got this, and then I got this one time, which was a lighter pink. And I let it sit in the fridge for like a week, and it still didn't get darker. So I don't know. My guess is either maybe the shells are too old, because I have a whole bunch that are just preserved in jars. This is an avocado. But you see there's a lot of variation here. So So I've got some avocado dyed papers, I've got some coffee dyed papers, and then I have some papers from various scrapbooks. And then I have a few printouts that I did with the digitals. So let me talk about the digitals. So I'm just going to set these coffee dyed up here. This is one of the digitals, and I just printed it on coffee dyed. Coffee dyed, coffee dyed. This is all coffee. This is a interesting avocado that I think I splattered it after. So, and then these, I'll tell you the sets these are from. How do I find them? This is printed. I printed a few. I didn't print very many because I didn't know how I was going to use them. So what I did is I took some of my scrapbook papers and printed the digitals on the backs so that they don't have a white side. But I only did it with a few. And these are Stamperia. How far? So this is a Stamperia. So I went through the pack, and what I did is I picked the papers that look like they could work for backgrounds, and I chose those. So I chose this one, and I cut them down to 8.5 by, well, right now I think it's 12 because I'm going to trim it. I just wasn't real sure how I was going to trim it, so I have to decide that. Right now I think they're the full 12 if I remember correctly. Let me just double check. They need to be at 11, so yeah, they're the full 12. So I'll have to figure out where I'm going to trim it. There isn't a perfect spot on a few of these, but they are pretty. So this is Stamperia. This is Stamperia one I chose. This is that other one. What was the name? Treehouse? I don't know who it's by. I don't think it was Graphic 45. My little receipt from scrapbook.com didn't say, and it didn't have a thing still on it. It's possible I threw it away. Sometimes I get them and then I tear off the little tab and then I don't remember what they are. Where is my receipt? It's in here somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, guys. And I can't find my receipt. I know I stuck it in here. Buried it. Alright, I don't know. It's not around. Anyway, I know it's Treehouse. I don't remember. I talked about it on the first live, so the name of this is on there. It's double-sided, similar to this. I got it from scrapbook.com. And then this is Stamperia, so another one. But see how close this is to the edge? So I got to decide what I want to do, because something has to go. And I could possibly have a half a page and fold part of it over the edge, and that might be what I do so that I don't lose anything important. This is gosh. When I was doing the bee journal, this was some paper I had bought for that. I think the colors will still work. They're relatively muted, and they've got a lot of these same orange neutral tones. I'm trying to remember who it was by. I don't think it was Yasm. I'll have to look it up because I honestly do not remember. But I'll look it up and I will put it on the description in YouTube where this is from. I ordered it off of Amazon. It's most likely in my favorites list. But so I picked out 3 of those to use. We'll put those somewhere. This is some older cardstock I had from Hobby Lobby. It's called Parchment. And so I picked out a few shades of that I thought might work. They're cardstock, they're fairly heavy. Now, I have probably a lot more than I need, but I just wanted a lot to choose from. So I have this Parchment. Then I have just some regular cardstock, and this is just from various packs. I think one was forest, one might have been ocean or something. But so I've just got some muted tones in cardstock. This is the Recollections cardstocks from Michaels. And I have a few and some green, hopefully of shades that I thought might work. So, like I said, I probably don't need all that. This is more avocado paper, which we'll throw in. I do have one grid paper in here. And then I have a couple of the coffee filters. Coffee filters I can stick up here with the envelopes. This with the coffee dyed. And this was a printed, like I said. So let's talk about, and this was, I don't know why this is here. This is a Tim Holtz background, but I don't think I need that. I think I just pulled it out because it's like I might use that somewhere. All right, and then I have paper bags and a few more doilies. So I've got some doilies, various sizes, coffee filters in a different color. Might use these, and then a few different paper bags. I've got the typical pharmacy bags. I've got two of these that are from something. A bag from the dentist. So I may use a couple of bags. I'm going to get crazy with the bags, but I may use a couple of those. All right, so my digitals. Where's my printouts? Where'd you put them? They're here somewhere. Buried under stuff. Oh, there's two more pieces of cardstock. If I pick it up. Some cardstock in just a cream. Just throw that in with those. Okay. What time is it? So these are the digitals I bought. So this one was a little pricey. I don't usually go this high on my digitals, but I did really like it, and it does have 75 pages, which is decent. It's decent quality, but it has a lot of very neutral backgrounds. Let's see, is this butterfly from this? Maybe. The problem is the front page never shows everything, but let's see if it's from one of the others. I think it's from that. I think. But it had just a couple of, where did I put those pictures? Not these. Not these. I buried them. All right, stay organized, girl. Right here. Okay. So, digital. This is on avocado paper, which is why it's so pink. The digital itself is not that pink. But I picked something that I thought would be okay on the pink avocado look. There's some daisies on the back of the screen. And just some leaves. I think it's that way. I guess technically it could go either way. Don't know which. And then a bird nest. Just on coffee dyed. It didn't quite fit. So what I did is I put this part on the bottom because I might put up a pocket there or something to cover that up. That's my thought. Who knows? I may not even use it. You never know. But anyway, so I bought this one. Here's a hint. If you find something you like on Etsy, price is too much. This was normally $15.99. Favorite it. Wait a while. Normally, the sellers will come in and offer you a coupon. Normally. That's what I find. And so the seller sent me a 45% off coupon. So it ended up costing me $10 instead of $15.99. Like I said, for 75 pages of digitals, that's good. This one, and that one's called Nature's Neutrals Mega Variety Pack by, who's it by? Ink and Page Journals. This one is Torn Pages, Spring Green. It is by, I have this twice. Let me find the other one. It is by Whiteboard Studios. So these are some of the designs in it. It's pretty. It was $2.57. The seller sent me a 40% off coupon. And then this one is similar to the other one. It's also Whiteboard Studios, but it was different enough for me to get them both. And this one was $2.57 as well. And it has these designs. And it's called Vintage Cottage. So I think these will go well with the Stamperia one. And not all of them, but a lot of them. So I'm going to use those as I'm doing it. And then I just printed some on these papers. So these papers that this is printed on are from, and I have a few more sheets that aren't printed yet. They still have the white back that I may use, may not, don't know. But these papers, just so you know, are, let's see if I can get to them. Find the titles. So one is, it's too much stuff on my desk, guys. One is Theodosia Square, Paper Studio one. I've had this forever. It has a lot of the, a lot of these. Don't ask me which ones came from which ones. I know that the wood ones are the country road, I think. So Theodosia has, a lot of background. It's very useful, but it's not cardstock. It's thin, which I don't prefer, but didn't really have a choice. So the ones that have like wood and like that dotted look, there's a couple in here. It's hard to tell which ones are which, but some of them I can tell real obvious. Pretty sure this is from this. It's hard to tell, it's so little, but it's that one. The wood ones are from this country road. And I picked them because the colors are still very similar, to these colors, these greens and blues and browns that this set has. So, it's not a perfect match, but that blue is perfect. So that's why I went through and I picked out a few that I thought went okay with the colors. And then these are the ones I printed. Same thing, some of them are more flowery, and then some of them are just, very plain. But, the plain color worked well with the greens and stuff that I was seeing in this. So that's that in a nutshell. And that's what I have to play with. So a lot of stuff. Decent amount of stuff anyway. Put that underneath. So the first thing I have to figure out is cover pages, and be the most important in my opinion. So what do I want to see first when I open this up? Ideally I would like to see a Stamperia one. I just don't know if it'll work out that way. I may end up using these for centers because I did have 3 and they are double-sided. So I'm leaning toward that's going to be centers. But these, I have to look at it. If I do use it for a cover page, the flaw is if it's all the way to the edge and I have to do a pocket, that means that my back page wouldn't go all the way to the edge. So do I have 3 of these I can use for a cover? Because it's 3 signatures that don't go all the way to the edge and I can trim. That is the question. I know, and I could even use this one if I had to. So that is pretty too. It's not the Stamperia, but I think I only have 3 of these. I might could do one more. I have to look at the book and see if there's a possibility. Because this bird one, I love it, but it's gonna be a pain unless I just chop off an inch, because it's only an inch. So I would have tells and Cree. It's like it just doesn't work. It doesn't work perfectly. Whereas everything else, I think I have room to trim and be okay. So let me see if I can find one more that might work. It's like, I don't mind. Did I trim this? I didn't trim this. I know I didn't. Maybe I did. No, it's still 12. It needs to be 11. I know it looks really small because I do make mine go in quite a lot because of the lace. But I don't want a page that's, an inch longer than all the other pages. So this one I think is exact. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's 11. It should be 8.5 by 11. Yeah. So really I need a guide page. Let me get one of the plain ones because I don't want a guide page that's not plain. So we're just going to use this. I'm going to fold this. You could score it. I'm not gonna. Alright. So this is my guide page. So this is what it's going to be when it's in here. So it's going to be very well inside. I'll have about an inch on the edge here because I like to sometimes put lace. Oh, you had a phone call, Deborah? Well, welcome back. So that's where I'm at. So let's look in the Stamperia and see if we can't find another one, because I need 3 and I only have 2. Let me see. It needs to fit this. So these, if I did this as a cover, I could make this work with the butterfly. Am I going to lose an inch? Is that an inch? Yeah, I don't even have to go that far. So lose just up the edge of this writing for my fold, and then make sure it's 5.5. Yeah, to there. So I could do that way and not lose anything important. The same thing with this one. Put this on the front page, and then what I would lose is just a little bit of that flower over there, which is fine. So this one's also feasible. But the bird is not. The bird, I would lose it and it would just be weird. It would be, I'd have to keep this whole bird, and I would end up being halfway on this writing. If there wasn't writing, I probably wouldn't worry about it, but there's writing. Now granted, I could cover it with something on that back page, so it doesn't matter later that there is just writing there. I could put something there. Maybe I put a long thing and just cover that whole section. I could do that so that I can use, actually that's the front. Then I'd have to lose the bird. So I have to think about which way it'll be. It'll be this way. So I would have to do that with the bird, and I don't want to do that with the bird. So I'm going to pick another one, and I'll end up using these on pages somewhere in a different way, folded or something. Let's grab this Stamperia and see if I can pick out another one that's feasible. That's always the challenge, finding feasible choice. Don't think this one worked. This would work, but it's obviously it's got all that on it. So I don't want to do that. Where'd my blue page go? Blue page. Did I bury you? I don't know where you went. There you are. Alright. So this one, if I did the girl, so this would be, this is the side that's going to be showing. So I'd have to chop the girl in half. I'd have to use this side. So I'd have a little bit of the books, maybe just a tiny, maybe, yeah, it'd be right at the top of the book. So this would be my front cover, this section, which isn't terrible. I could come over to here, and then I wouldn't lose any of that. And I'd still have the 2 butterflies. Possible. What's on the other side? Just plain. And we've got this kitty cat one. That would be the front, but let's see where it would hit. So I could feasibly lose, I can't see with all this stuff under it. Feasibly lose this little tiny piece here. Maybe not too much of it, maybe because I kind of like those colors. Maybe about a 1/2 inch or so. I did that. I still have the plant for the most part. I would only have half of this. I don't know if that's an issue. I'd still have all the words. Or the bottom half, yeah, I'd chop the kitty in half for the bottom half, so I can't do the bottom half. And then here, I would just have half of this up to lose some of that, which maybe isn't too big of a deal. And the other side's just plain. So maybe the girl so far, let's see, got a couple more. So I have this one and this one. So if I do this one, have this piece or this piece. Probably this piece, it's prettier in my opinion. So that would be there. I think I'd be okay with those words. I'm trying to see what it would show. It'd just show a few of the words, but I don't think it would look weird. Sometimes when you chop words in half, you end up with not so nice words. So you have to be careful. And then I would lose some of the coffee. So it would be approximately here. Still have joy. If I do choose, I want to try to keep choose. Let's see. That is about 3/4 of an inch, so I'd still need 1/4 of an inch. I could take the 1/4 of an inch off of this side. So that's possible. I would keep up to this line where the unique is, so this would be the front piece. And then on the back piece, I could come all the way to the C. I'd lose a little bit of the other part, but it's not as big a deal. And then I don't know what that's going to say. It'll say like of the fowl. A fowl's a bird, that's fine. And then song adores. So nothing weird. So that's good. So maybe that one. So the choices so far are that one possibly, or this one, which would be really this. This will be on the back cover because of the way it folds. So either this is a cover or this is a cover. Can't do the kitty, that doesn't work. And then the last choice is this blue one. Let's see what it looks like. So this one, obviously I'd want that. So the question is, where would I hit that moon? And see, I would lose that whole moon. I wouldn't be able to use it somewhere. I would have just the simplicity. I would have it like to here, which it works. It's still fine because you don't know that's a moon. It's not terrible. And then I would have that to use just somewhere for a pocket or something, which isn't bad either. It actually can split okay. And then this side, of course, is fine. That works fine. How much can I trim? There's an issue. These letters are all the way up to the edge almost. Yeah, you maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I would lose all of this part and that part. So that doesn't work. See, there's all these complications. So that doesn't really work. So can't do that one. So we're back to these two. So let's pick one of these. I'm thinking. I think with the girl, do I keep all the words? I do keep all the words. I'd have the butterflies. Maybe the girl. I like this one too, but I am losing half of that, which isn't a huge deal because it doesn't even finish. It's not even a finished thing, so it's not really a huge deal. I don't know. Do y'all like this better? The flowers or this, because this is what's going to be on the front page. Either this or this, and the other part will be on the back page. This will be on the back page, and then this will be on the back page. They're both pretty. So we've got those. Can't do the bird, and then we have these two. So I'm not going to do the treehouse. I'm going to put that somewhere else. So these two. So color-wise, it doesn't really matter. They're all similar. They do all. Pretty much all of them have butterflies. Butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. That one doesn't have butterfly. Do I keep them all with butterflies? So this would be 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3. There, honestly, it's kind of 1/2 dozen, guys. It's really not that much different. So do the one with the butterfly and have butterflies on all the covers. I mean, logically, I guess it kind of makes sense. Sure. Let's just do that. And I'll figure out other places for those. So let's cut this one down to match these. And then trim these off where I need to trim them. This is taking a while. I knew it was going to take a while. That's why I usually do this ahead of time, guys. Because there is a lot of figuring out when it comes to pages. You really have to think about all the things. You know, how it's going to fold, what you're going to have to trim. Especially if you're dealing with 12 by 12s. Because unless you're doing a 12 by 12 pages and everything, which means you can't really use 8.5 by 11s easily, you're going to have to trim it. So that's always a little bit of a challenge. So I decided I'm going to trim this right at, I think, the little brown sign there. And then whatever I need for the other side. This is pretty much perfect. I think it came up to the top of the book. So I don't have my guillotine, but I'll just use this. Hopefully the blade's good. I haven't cut with it in a while. I think the blade's okay. I should test it first. Alright, so first we're going to cut off the height. So we want this to be 8.5. It should go right to that top of the book. Alright, and then we can make pockets with this or something, Always end up using them for something. And then we got to make this 11, so we need to lose an inch. So we know we want to keep this dreams word. So let's line it up to where we can still keep that. There's not really a lot on this side, so probably about there. And then go to 11 and chop off the rest. Now, keep these. You never know. You might use them for something. I usually keep all these little pieces. Sometimes I use them. So there's our page. And then we have to trim these too. So for this one, there's only one word there. This might lose that whole piece. I don't know. I don't want to lose too much. Can I take a whole inch off this side? Let's see. Yes. I'm okay with it. I'm going to lose full of discoveries on the other side. Not a big deal, but I don't think I can quite get an inch out of it. Not quite. Yeah, I can only get 3/4. So, do I lose the whole full of discovery instead? It's like a half. I don't want to lose the bird. You know what? We're just going to split full of discovery. It'll just be split. It doesn't really matter. I want to keep my whole butterfly, so I'm going to just take a little off of each side. Nope, more than that. I'm still losing the S. I should have done the S first. You know what? Let me just do this. I don't want to lose the S. That's the most important words on here. So we'll just do this side a little bit more. I don't really want to lose the ticket either. Let's see where we're at. Gosh, I'm still losing the butterfly. Ticket or the butterfly? Ticket. Ticket goes. Tis what it is, right? Alright, so I go right up to the S. About there. This one was a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But it's not terrible. But the backs are pretty much plain on all of them. Alright, so what am I trimming? This one. Go to 11, and hopefully we're not going to lose anything. All right, good. Okay, didn't lose the butterfly. All right, so there we go. That'd be good. You only get to see part of him, I think, but close enough. Where's the last one that needs trimmed? There. Okay, so for this one, let's see, I might take a teeny bit off the side, maybe one of the birds. About there. Just so I can pull it over as much as I can. And then 11. I'm going to lose a decent amount of the plant. Okay. All right. And then we have this. All right, that works. I think that was all the trimming. Okay. Let's see all my little bits and pieces. So, fold our covers. Don't think I need to score them. one. Hopefully I don't lose too much of that butterfly. Yeah, that's fine. 2. And 3. All right, so these are our covers. All right, those are pretty. And then I think I'm going to choose these for the center pages. They're good overall general. I think these will be fine for the center pages. So we'll do these. Now technically your center pages will end up being a little bit smaller. I'm not going to trim them yet, but they tend to, you lose maybe 1/8 of an inch off of them. So, you know, if you think there's something that you don't want to cut off of it, go ahead and try to trim some of it, or at least be close. I think we're okay. I was debating on this one with the bee right there. I don't really want to chop his head off. So I might actually trim this side just a little bit. And I know from experience that you lose about 1/8 of an inch in the center. And that's just because as your pages, for anyone new, as your pages go together like this, what happens is this middle one, it starts getting pushed more and more over, okay? And so if you've got like 7 to 10 pages, however many, I think we're going to probably start with 7. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see how there's probably like 1/8 of an inch. Well, right now there's not, but almost 1/8 of an inch. And then see how this middle one is sticking out? So that tells you that that one's going to end up being trimmed. Okay. So since these are the center pages, I know that they will be slightly smaller. Focus camera. There it is. And I don't, most of these are okay. I mean, if I lose 1/8 of an inch on this bee, it's not as big of a deal, but you know what? I'm going to trim it anyway, because there's less on this side that I care about losing. I don't like chopping heads off of things and stuff, you know, just, it's weird. So because this one bee is right there, and I'm going to end up chopping his head off, I'm going to trim from this side ahead of time. And normally I just don't trim them until later, but for this I'm going to. That's my logic behind that, is I don't want to fold it in half and find out that I'm going to later lose his little head. So we're just going to take off like 1/8 of an inch. That should be enough. Don't think it will get much smaller than that, if I can keep it in the right spot. I think 1/8 will be enough. Okay, so I'm going to take it off the side I don't care to lose. And then I can fold it in half. Okay, and now I'm not losing his little head. Poor little bee. So this one, let's see. There's really nothing close, but since I did the other one, I'll just go ahead and do them all. Just trim off the centers at 1/8 of an inch smaller. So about 1/8. Yeah, I'm gonna chop that one off completely, so that's worked out. These are the, I can't see the edge. These are the same front and back, so. But that's fine. I don't care if they're the same. And then this one, I'll probably keep his little body, so we'll take it off of this side. center. And the ones that, you know, as it goes, the others will need trim too, but most of those are going to be relatively plain. If I come to one that's going to be possibly an issue, then I can trim it then, but I don't think it's going to be. Okay. So now we have our centers and we have our covers. All right. And then, you know, I'll figure out which one of these looks best first. And I usually just look at them and see, you know, which one I want best first. You know, do I want to see this first? How does it look with the cover? That type of thing. Do I want to see this first? Or do I want to see this first? I'm leaning toward maybe. Maybe one of these. It's not a big deal as of yet. I don't necessarily have to decide that just yet. I can always move them around as I go. Okay, so now we need center pages and envelopes and things. And only about 20 minutes left, so let's see what we can find. So I know I had some printouts that I did. So I had this one. I tried to split them up. So I have that one. I think I had one more. That one. This is coffee dyed, so it's a little bit different. And then I have another coffee dyed somewhere around here. So I have these three. So we'll put one of these in each signature for now. And you can decide whether you want that on the inside, that on the outside. I don't know that it really matters. At this point, I don't know what's going to look better. And sometimes I'll choose one and it really doesn't look ideal, so I end up flipping it the other way. Now, I did print these in my photo editing thing to where I could adjust the size of them. A lot of times on these digitals, there'll be a border or other things and they don't quite scale right. So I just play with the size until it lines up to the center, and I just have like a center line on my sheet layout on my photo program, so that I can put one there and one there. And that's how I put them on these, because not all of these are together. This one I think was together, but sometimes these are from different pages. They're not like a spread. They're individuals. So. Okay, so one for each. And I can start deciding, but I don't know if I'm going to yet. I'm just going to stick them over here with these. So then we need, move this cover. Let's see what I have in heavier weight papers. I do like heavier weight papers because then if you're adding pockets and things, it's always nice. So we're done with threes. So we have a blue. I don't think I have three blues. It doesn't really matter if I have the same in each. Sometimes I try to do the same in each, but it doesn't really matter. I don't even know if I've grabbed another blue one. Oh, I'm not feeling it. Okay, I don't think I did. Alright, so we've got two of those. I think I only have one of these grains because it's all I had left. But I do like it, so I'm going to use it. Of course, like the beige. I'll put one beige there. And just to substitute that green, let's do, I think I have one brown. Do I have two browns? I have two browns. Oh, we need 3 piles, not 2. I'll substitute maybe this blue for the center one. Get under there. It's not going to go under. I have fingernails. Oh my goodness. I'm making this much more difficult than it needs to be. Get under. Right, 1, 2, 3. And the piles are just getting a mess. I'll just put it in my lap. Okay, so we have blues, 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 and then we have, let's just do some neutral tones. Neutral, neutral, a little more neutral. Let's do this one. And then, let's see, I'd like 3 greens. I might have to grab that paper and see if I can find some more greens. These darker blues. I only have 2. I guess I could do for now the green and then this darker blue and this darker blue. Oh, I need to keep it separated. Okay, so we have 4 there. 1, 2, oh, we missed a color. 3. Sorry, I hope you can see enough. I'm trying to see what I can see on screen. All right, we'll do it this way so y'all can see all the colors. All right, and then I do have one more dark blue, but I already have one there. I need a light blue. Like I said, it bugs me when they're not the same. I don't know why. It's me. Let's see if I have that color. What set was that in? Be the set. Let's see. It's possible I just don't have one, but I might. Is it that one? I think it's that one. And then, so this is Coastal. And then I've got 3 of these already, so I actually have 4. I don't need 4. I'll take one of those back. And then beiges, that's okay if that's slightly different. So greens, I need to find some greens. There's no greens in this Coastal. No greens. We have greens here. Let's see. What do we got? We have forest. That's that green. I think I only have one. Dark green. I don't think I want the dark green. Maybe we'll go with this tone for a third. We'll just put it here. There. And then I don't think I want any more of those greens. What's this last one back here? This is, what's it called? Earth. Are there any shades in there? I might have too many already, honestly. I really only need like 3 of these. Maybe I won't do that heavy craft one. I think I'll take that out. I'm not going to do the heavy craft. I think I'll stick with 3 color. Well, 4? We'll stick with 4 for now. That's probably too many. I probably need to eliminate 2, honestly. And I don't know where that went. Do I have 2 of these? Oh, that's why I had 2 of them. They changed slightly, but it's the same thing. Okay. All right, what should I eliminate? Because I only want like 7 or 8 pages to start with, because if I get more than that, it gets too thick. So right now I've got blue, beige, green, and light blue. So dark blue, beige, green, and light blue. Dark blue, beige, green, and light blue. All right. I could, since I'm going to have coffee dyed papers, let's get rid of the beige. I think 3 is enough. So we'll get rid of the beige and just keep the colored ones. If I can hold on to everything. Right, beige, come here. Beige. All right. So we need to fold all these. So that's 3 for each signature. And we have 1 there. We have, how many do we have there? 3. See, we're already up to 6 because we have the cover, the center, and then these printed out ones. So that's 6 pages so far. I can go 8, but I don't really want to go more than that. So I think I like all these colors. Let me look at the papers. So many, guys. So definitely like this blue. I think that really complements. Oh, I didn't want this. Where's this from? I thought I grabbed the pile of Stamperia papers. I did not. Here, I'll just use this. Okay. So I think I like this. I couldn't find this shade of blue anywhere. The light's nice too, but I also want some green. This isn't showing a lot of the greens, but it's kind of like these greens. Which blue should I get rid of? I don't know. We'll keep them all for now. If it gets too bulky, I'll have to eliminate something. Because I'm probably going to... I might use these as that, but I also might just use them as page covers on one of the existing pages. I don't know. We'll do 3 for now, but I think it's going to be too many. It feels like 2. It's not. It's just really thick. Which is good. I like having thicker pages for when I'm doing pockets and things that just require a little more structure. I really like the thicker pages. I have a feeling I'm going to run out of time, guys. It's getting close to my time cut. I can't even see that. It blends too well. I'm trying to be as exact as I can. They're all nice colors, honestly. And almost, guys. I know this is tedious. Now you know why I do it at a time. But you know what? It's all right. Sometimes new people like to see all the process and the thinking that goes behind it and all that. So it's good to do it every now and then. In case you're not, a regular viewer, then you've seen me do it 100 times. Okay, so there's our 3 for that. Put that there. And then we'll just pick one of the avocados in the lighter shades. So this one. This one. Maybe that one. And then we'll do one of these light color ones. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to do the dark coffee dyed, I don't think. So we're up to what? A lot. More than I need. All right. So let's see. I got to see how bulky it feels once I get this folded up. And then we'll put envelopes or paper bags or something. Maybe a doily. A doily could also just go on this the center page. I've done that before. It looks good as pockets on the center page. Might do that. It's already folded. All right, there's those, and then probably maybe just like one of each. So we'll do a white bag, a brown bag. It's a decent one. Always have to take the staples out of these, and sometimes they look awful. Sometimes they're okay. I think that one's not bad. So we got a brown, a white. Yep, let's just do that. And then, what's our other choice? The envelope. The envelope. And the envelope usually ends up going kind of, sort of. Sandwich it in there. I might have to trim it first. But it goes like this, and then it'll be sewn into the signature. Kind of like that. So I think I can do it without trimming it for right now. So we'll have 3 different things. So this thing, this, I'm not sure exactly how I'll fold that because I'll probably lose that edge there. And we're just going to come up to that spot. Like, should I go ahead and trim it? Maybe. I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Actually, I'll just use scissors because I'll try to cut it. So, this bag. And then this bag. I'm not sure how I'll use this bag exactly. Chances are it will end up being trimmed. Probably trim it off this whole piece here. I'm not going to do it right this second. We're just going to fold it for now. I'm going to do that. Alright, so that gives those 3. And then, like I said, the doilies, you know, maybe I'll do a doily, maybe not. I like making pockets with the doilies too, so I might just save these for pockets instead of putting them in the pages, since I have so many anyway. So let's do that. I have these papers. I'm not going to use these right now, but I want to show you these. I don't think I showed you these. I found these on Amazon. I'm not sure they will work with this one. I don't know how pastel they get in here. There's a billion of them though. There's so many. It's like crazy. 160 pages, and they're all different. I went through them all. They're all different. But there's a lot of muted tones in here. I think I can possibly pull a few of these from. I'm just mostly showing you this. I'm not going to use it for a page. But aren't they pretty? It's all nature. So we'll be putting those on pages as backgrounds probably, for the most part. They'll be attached to something. Alright, so let's see what we got. Okay, so we have centers, doesn't really matter, cover, and everything that falls in between. So start with the cover, and I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up. So let's see, I'll probably move these around 100 times, but for right now we're just gonna stick them together. So this, I don't have much time. My time has run out, but that's okay. We'll keep going until I finish it. at least for the most part. This, and then we need 2 of these. So this goes in here, and this goes in here. And then we have beige. Like I said, I don't know where they're exactly going to go. We'll play with that. Maybe next slide. I know I want to, you know, alter heavy pages with light pages though. I always do that. So I get a little bit of a variety going. And then we have blue. Just stick that in front for right now, I guess. And where's my other blue? Let me spread these out so I have the piles. Blue. And blue. Okay. Greens. Let's alternate that into there. And green. There. And green. Here. And then light blue. I can see I'm going to put the green. I'm probably going to put the green here instead, but I'm just going to throw this in for now. So you can see that with the B papers, particularly this, I have a feeling the light blue is not going to work as well as the green. So I see that being a switch. I could do it now, I guess, but this, yeah, it's still going to look better with the green, I think. And then we have these. These can go, let's see, maybe between the front. The light blue there. I don't have a beige, I have a dark blue, green. Yeah, maybe I'll put these. Alright, put this one here. And which one? Blue. Where'd the other one go? This has a little more blue in it. This one here. And this one here. Okay. Now I'll figure out where the envelopes can go and all that. See how we're still going to have some trimming. So the only thing I know I wanted to switch for sure was that green and blue. So I guess I could go ahead and do that. Green, blue. Switch out the green and the blue. And avocado, green, and that. And one more. Green. And if that green worked best with that one, because we do have a different shade of green. But I think it looks okay with this one. Yeah. Okay, so now we have this. And then these will go somewhere. I don't know where. Doesn't really matter. So for right now, we're just going to stick them in there. Because I will probably change them. I always do. I'm not even sure where I just stuck that. Where did I stick it? In between the coffee dyed. So just after the coffee dyed. And this envelope just after the coffee dyed. Okay, let's see what we got. So we have 3 signatures. Looking pretty thick, but not crazy. Not crazy. It'll be all right. They get thicker as it goes, so gotta leave yourself some room. But they will go in. Okay, and like I said, I always have a gap, so there's a decent amount between the edges. I like it that way. Originally I made them a little bit smaller, but I like it bigger. What did I say? I think I'll do this one for the front for now. It may change. We'll do the kind of different one in the middle. So for right now, it'll be that. I think that looks good with that. And then, so we have colors, lots of muted tones, earthy tones. This is a little bright, but I'm gonna leave it. But it is a tad bright. It'll be the only one in there. It's a tad bright, I think. I don't think that set had another color that was not as bright. I'll double check, but I don't think it did. And then this one, so that works out with that pretty good. Blues okay together. Browns, this green I think works out okay with that. And then the last one, this, that's feasible. There's some of that blue right here, and in these flowers. That's feasible. This blue matches very good. And this green matches good. Backwards. All right, so there we go. So all of our signatures, like I said, they need trimmed, because you can see as they go, they definitely start pushing out there. So see, I think it was about a good 1/8 of an inch that they come out. So I'll probably trim them before we go too much further if I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to be. I try not to trim them too soon because they may change and then the trim won't work. So, but I don't like to do it last either because close to the edge and then I can't trim it. It never fails. So that's our signatures. I hope y'all enjoyed that process. I know it was long, but that's where we're at. Okay, so I will be back on Friday and we'll get to working on this. And then y'all let me know on a comment. Please comment and let me know what you think about me doing that miniature kit. Let me show it to you. I don't think there's anybody new tonight, but I'll show you guys if I yeah, sure I will. I'll show you guys the kit. If I can find it, it's on the floor. Oops, it does not reach that far. Everything's on the floor. So this is what I was talking about. So it's Tipsy Restaurant is what it's called. It's a bistro bar. It's approximately 7 by 9 finished, if I remember correctly. I think it says it on the inside. If it says it on the outside, I'm not seeing it. But you know, it's a little kit, and you punch everything out because it's a mess. There's so much to it, guys. It really is. There's a lot. So it's got lights. It's got all the little things. And then it's got, you know, more little things, tiny little pieces, a crazy instruction sheet, lots of instructions, and then all these things that you have to punch out. Okay. And then decals, basically. So there's a lot to it, but I want to do it, and I don't mind doing it with y'all. If you're interested. If you're not interested, tell me, and I'll just do it on my own. Yeah. But if you are interested, I don't mind doing it with y'all. Okay, so it would either be Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Y'all let me know if you have a preference on the day, and we'll see if we can actually get some answers that are, you know, not 3 of each, because that's what usually happens. So, y'all let me know. And I will be back on Friday and we'll work some more. All right, so I ran over this time, a little bit over 10 minutes. Everybody's going to be mad because I haven't fixed some dinner yet. Everybody's getting late dinner. But none of us are getting up before 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're all on night schedule right now. So I know it's weird, but that's just the way our household is right now. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.